welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys some of my absolute favorite things from the drugstore. I know around this time this is when people usually put out their monthly favorites, but since I don't really get the chance to try out as many products as I would like each month, I don't really get the chance to make videos like that. So the products from the drugstore that I will be showing you today are tried and true products for me, either things that I've bought multiple times or things that I've had for quite some time that I absolutely love and would definitely recommend to you guys. So the way I'm going to go about it is by showing you guys all the things that I have in sort of the same order that you would apply them in your usual makeup routine. I have about 1 or 2 products for each sort of category, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is actually a tool, and that is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. I put this first because this is usually what I use to apply my foundation, concealer, and any cream contour, and I believe it retails for about $10 Canadian. So I got this about 3 months ago, and ever since then I believe the way I apply my makeup and the way that my makeup looks when I'm done has absolutely changed for the better. I love this thing. I've never honestly had a beauty blender because honestly I find them to be a bit overpriced. I believe where I am they're about $25 for a sponge and this is only $10, so that's actually less than half the price and it's absolutely worth it. I've seen a bunch of reviews online saying that this and a beauty blender are pretty much the same thing except for the shape. I personally don't mind the shape. I really love it. It's super soft and squishy and I would definitely recommend it to anybody. So moving on to foundation, for any of you who've seen any of my videos, you already know which one I'm going to be talking about, and that is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi. I have had this for I think a couple months now and I've been absolutely obsessed with it. I believe this retails for about $20 Canadian, but I got mine on sale for $15. I'm in the shade W12. And I believe that is the lightest shade in the range. So before this one I did have the regular L'Oreal True Match, and I believe that one has a bit of a better sort of shade range, but I really wanted to try this one as it claimed to be luminous, and now that the spring and summertime is rolling around I really wanted to get that sort of dewy and naturally glowy finish. I would say that this one in particular is about a medium coverage. I haven't tried to build it up to full coverage simply because I don't think that my skin needs that, but I definitely think that you could, as it is a very sort of thin, lightweight formula. So I personally have about normal to dry skin, so I think this is really great for that. I don't know if this would be super good for oily skin, but you can definitely try it out, and if it doesn't work out for you, I would recommend the regular True Match because that one is really good as well. Okay, so moving on to concealer, I do have one for you guys, and that is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I personally have mine in the shade Brightener. I believe this is considered the lightest shade in the range. They do have one, I believe, titled Light, but that one is actually quite a bit darker than this one, and since I am pretty much the palest person on the planet, I definitely need something super pale, and this one has a bit of a pink tone to it, so that's definitely going to help brighten but also slightly conceal under eye circles, which is awesome. So I believe this retails for about $10.99 Canadian, and I wouldn't consider this necessarily to be full coverage. It's definitely sort of a light to medium coverage. I definitely think you can build it up though. I personally have never really tried to build it up too much because I find if you do that it gets really creasy underneath the eyes. Not necessarily thinking that this is a concealer that is bound to crease, but usually for me it doesn't matter what concealer I try, it creases no matter what. So that's just a little quick fact about this guy, but I really do like it. This is the concealer that I go for on an everyday basis. This is the one that I have been absolutely loving for a couple of months now, so I would definitely recommend it to you guys. I think Maybelline absolutely kills it in the concealer game. I've heard really good things about the Maybelline Fit Me, although I haven't used that one for quite some time. I think the last time I used it was a couple of years ago, so they probably changed the formula by now. But if you aren't interested in picking this one up, then maybe you could try out the Maybelline Fit Me, as I have heard very good reviews on that one as well. I did want to quickly apologize for the lighting in this video. When I started, it was pretty cloudy outside. It definitely looked like it was going to rain, and the sun is coming out and then it's leaving, and I'm really not entirely sure what's happening with that, but I did want to quickly apologize for that, as I do have to work with natural lighting at the moment. I don't have a lighting setup, so hopefully that's okay for you guys. Alright, so moving on to contour, I do have a product to tell you guys about, and that is the NYX Wonderstick. I do actually have a video on this that I posted, I think, about a month or two ago. And so if you want to see a very detailed review, first impressions on that, you can definitely go check that out. I will try to remember to leave that in the description. So I'm not entirely sure how much this retails for, as I did receive it as a gift. So I will try to look that up for you, see if I can find out, and leave that in the description. I do have the shade light medium. So the thing I love about this guy the most is the contour end. It is a very, very cool toned brown, which I think is absolutely great for contouring. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm too crazy about the highlighting end, in the sense that I don't really use it for the all over highlight, but I definitely do use it for highlighting under my brow bone, and I absolutely love it for that. It's great. I have only actually used a couple of cream contour products in the past, but this one I think so far is my absolute favorite. It blends out really, really well, especially with a damp sponge, especially the sponge that I mentioned earlier. So this and the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion sponge is an awesome combination. Alright, so moving on to face powder, I do actually have two powders to talk to you guys about today, and one of them is a all over setting powder and the other one is a bronzer. So the first thing I want to talk about is the all over setting powder, and that is the NYX HD Studio Finishing Powder. This particular one is in translucent. I think within NYX's brand they do have loose powders that are of different shades, but I personally wanted to pick up the translucent one. I think this retails for about $11.99 Canadian. I will make sure to check and leave everything below for you guys. I have absolutely loved this ever since I got it. This particular one is absolutely empty. I did actually have my boyfriend pop out the sifter for me so I could use absolutely everything that was in here. So it is completely empty. There's absolutely nothing left, and I absolutely loved it. I would definitely repurchase this. I just haven't done so yet because I do have another loose setting powder that I'm using right now, and I do really like that one too. But this one is awesome. I absolutely love it for setting everything all over the face. You can bake with it, but I personally wouldn't recommend it, as I do believe it gives a bit of a white cast. It looks absolutely beautiful in photos, but kind of in real life it doesn't look too great if you use it to bake. But other than that, I really do love this guy, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. Alright, so moving on to the bronzer I'm going to be telling you guys about is the Bronze Booster, and this is from Physicians Formula. I know a lot of YouTubers talk about this one, and I am a little bit late to the party in getting it. I did honestly buy it this year, but so far I absolutely love it. I do believe it retails for about $20 Canadian. I personally got mine on sale for I think about $15, which is awesome. I love when they have sales at the drugstore, and I think Physicians Formula is one of the brands that has sales relatively often, at least where I live. So upon looking at the bronzer, the shade is a little bit strange to me, but not necessarily in a bad way. I think it kind of looks cool tone sometimes and warm tone other times, which is totally fine. I honestly don't mind that. It's a little bit in between, which is nice. It suits a lot of different skin tones. I personally like my bronzers to be more warm tone, but this one is absolutely awesome if you're looking for one from the drugstore. It does to me look a little bit light in the pan. I personally got light to medium and was kind of scared it wasn't going to be dark enough, which seems kind of silly, but I really like to go heavy on the bronzer, especially in the warmer months. But I did end up picking up light to medium, and once you get it on the brush and apply it to the face, it definitely has a lot of pigmentation. You can build it up or you can keep it kind of subtle, which is really awesome. Okay, so moving on to the brows, I do actually have two products to talk to you guys about for that, and I believe they kind of go together. You can obviously buy them individually, but I think they kind of came out within the same line, and those are from L'Oreal. So I got the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer as well as the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. I got the liner in blonde and the plumper is in light to medium. So both of these do come to about $11.99 Canadian each. So if you bought both of them, it would be about $24 Canadian before taxes, which is awesome for two brow products. So starting off with the Brow Stylist Definer, one thing that I absolutely love about this is that the tip on it is so super fine that you really can get in there and do some really detailed work with your brows. I will say it does take a little bit longer if you're used to using either a larger pencil or powder. But I personally really enjoy the fine tip, and I think it's really, really nice, especially if you want to get that really thin tail. And on the other end, you do have a spoolie, and I will be honest, you guys, this is kind of a really awesome spoolie. I really like it a lot. Like I said earlier, I am in the shade Blonde, and I do like to match my pencil and my brow products to the natural color of my brows and not necessarily the color that I have my hair. As I do have two colors in my hair at the moment, I do find it would be kind of difficult for me to sort of match my brows to my hair, so I just go with matching it to my natural brow color, and Blonde happens to be the exact perfect color match for my natural brow hairs, which is awesome. Moving on to the brow gel, that is going to be the Brow Stylist Plumper, and this is going to be your tinted brow gel with little fibers in it. So this, I have heard, is going to be a dupe for the Benefit Gimme Brow. I personally have never used the Gimme Brow from Benefit, but given the fact that this is a tinted gel with fibers in it, I can see how people would say that it's similar. This is about half the price though, and I think you get about double the product as the Gimme Brow from what I can remember just looking at it in stores, so that's a great deal if it does end up being a dupe. So I think this is really awesome even if you're not doing a full face of makeup. Even if I'm not doing makeup, I will still run this through my brows, and it just kind of gives you a little extra something, makes them look like you've got maybe more of them and they're a little bit fuller, which is really nice, especially for people who don't have a whole lot of brows. So another thing that's really awesome is the spoolie applicator. So another thing that's really awesome is the spoolie applicator on this. It's really, really super small, so if you don't have big thick eyebrows, then you don't have to worry about sort of making a mess with this, so you can be really super precise with it, and that is awesome. Next up is going to be an eyeshadow primer, and that is the Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow base. I believe this retails for about $2.99 or $3.99 Canadian. Either way, it's super, super affordable. So this does have a little bit of a tint to it, and the tint is a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, so I think that if you're within the light to medium skin tone range, you wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this. I think if you are a little bit darker, you may not like it as much, as it does have the tint to it. Other than that though, I would definitely say that I really, really like this eyeshadow base. It doesn't necessarily make the pigmentation of your shadows that much more intense, but as for longevity, it does make your eyeshadow last all day compared to if you weren't using a primer, so that's awesome, especially for the price. So unfortunately, you guys, I don't have any eyeshadows from the drugstore that I could really recommend to you. I do have some drugstore eyeshadows within my collection, but unfortunately, I just don't think they really are super awesome enough for me to mention them in this video. I have heard very good things about the Milani, Wet n Wild, and L'Oreal shadows, although I personally have never tried any of them. So if you're interested in any drugstore shadows, I would check out those three brands. But I do have an eyeliner for you guys, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this one, and it is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pen. This is a liquid eyeliner, and it is absolutely hands down the best thing that I've ever tried, and I would never ever not recommend it to anyone. So I think this guy retails for about $15 Canadian, which is pretty good. I definitely think Physicians Formula prices are a little bit up there drugstore wise, but either way, super, super affordable. So for the applicator on this guy, it is actually a brush tip and not a felt tip. I know a lot of liquid eyeliners these days, especially in the drugstore or even high end, are sort of the felt tip liner, which is not something that I prefer. I definitely find that the brush tip over the felt tip is actually more beginner friendly, and it makes it almost impossible to screw it up. But with saying that, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is absolutely foolproof. I think that with anything, you're bound to mess up sometimes, and you can't really control that. But if you are looking for a liquid eyeliner that is really, really easy to use, I would definitely recommend this one. Alright, so moving on to mascara, I do have one that I'm super excited to talk to you guys about, and that is going to be the Covergirl Clump Crusher. This by far is my hands down holy grail. Will never buy anything else mascara. It is awesome. It's super affordable. It never clumps. Like, I've literally never had this mascara clump on me, given the name Clump Crusher. I know some people do like if their mascara is kind of clumpy, but I personally don't like that, so this is awesome. So I personally have two, and I have it in the waterproof and the extensions version. So I know they have three within the range from what I remember, and that's waterproof, regular, and extensions. I personally don't find too much of a difference within between the three, other than the fact obviously one is waterproof. So other than that, I definitely think that they all apply absolutely beautifully. I don't really think one is too much different from another one, and I would never ever not recommend these to you guys. I know it's kind of silly, but I personally have never tried any mascara other than ones from Covergirl, and I kind of don't really mind that because these work so well for me. I've bought so many of these, I honestly don't know how many I've had at this point, which I think is a good thing. It definitely says a lot. Before I did buy these, I think before they came out, I was using the one in the orange tube, which is I think the Covergirl Lashblast, and before that, when I was super young, I think the mascara my mom got me started on was also from Covergirl. So I believe these retail for about $10 Canadian. I will check that for you guys. Like I said, I'm leaving everything in the description for you, and you can always get these on sale though. I think Covergirl's always having sales on their mascaras, which is awesome. I love sales, especially in the drugstore, because you can get things for super extra affordable. So moving on to blushes, I do have sort of one blush to show you, but in two different shades, and that is going to be from the Milani Baked Blushes. This is one of the things that I did manage to get my hands on, as Milani is rather hard for me to come by. So whenever I go down and visit my parents near their house, they do have stores that carry this, because unfortunately where I live they don't. So this is one of the things that I would definitely say YouTube made me buy it, because all of the YouTubers that I was watching were talking about Milani Luminoso. So I have Luminoso and I also have Dolce Pink. So I've got two different shades from that range, and both of them are absolutely beautiful. Luminoso is going to be your sort of corally peachy shade, and Dolce Pink is just going to be your really nice baby pink shade. And both of these guys do have a bit of a shimmery finish to them. I do believe now Milani does have a matte finish blush, but I haven't tried those ones yet. But these ones are really awesome. I use them both on a regular basis. I think Milani probably a little bit more than Dolce Pink, but both of them are absolutely beautiful. So I do believe that these guys retail for about $10 Canadian, and the pigmentation on them is just so awesome that I really don't think that you can go wrong. So next up, and the last thing that I will be talking to you guys about today, are two different lipsticks, and one of them is from Maybelline and the other one is from L'Oreal. So the first one from Maybelline is going to be one of their matte finish lipsticks. I will leave the specific name down below, and I have mine in the shade Touch of Spice, which I believe is actually one of the more popular shades. I did have this one in another shade as well, but I seem to have lost that one, and it's really sad because it was a really nice color and I don't know where it is. Formula wise, this definitely is going to be a matte finish lipstick. I wouldn't say that it is as matte as some of those really intense liquid lipsticks out there, but it is definitely going to be matte. What's really awesome about this one and the rest of the ones in the line, as I have tried out other ones before, is that they are honestly pretty creamy, especially for a matte lipstick. They're not necessarily going to be hydrating, but I think they apply really smoothly and really opaque. So that's absolutely awesome, especially coming from Maybelline. I think when it comes to lipsticks, another thing that Maybelline kills other than concealers is the lipstick game. I love it so much, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. They have a pretty good shade range, so I would definitely go and check these out. Oh, and this one retails for about $10 Canadian as well. So next up, I have the L'Oreal one, and this is going to be from the L'Oreal Infallible range, and I have mine in the shade Resilient Raisin. So this is going to be a pretty dark red, which I absolutely love, and the formula on this, just as the other one, is extremely super creamy when you're applying it. It does not have a matte finish. It has sort of maybe a demi matte finish, which I really like as well. So formula wise, this one is also super creamy, just like the Maybelline one. It is a little bit more hydrating because it's not a matte finish, but I really do like it, and just like the Maybelline, it applies super opaque. And I believe this one retails for about $10 Canadian as well. Alright you guys, that pretty much wraps up this Drugstore Favorites video. I really hope that you guys liked it, and if there's any products that I didn't mention that you guys really love, please leave that down below so I can check it out and everyone else can check it out. I would love to start an awesome little discussion about drugstore makeup down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys!